Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Wolf from 3rd grade and I'm going to be reading chapter 9. Do you know what lucky is? Lucky is having friends who understand that building a magic hat can wait when Niagara Falls needs to be built right away. Lucky is having friends who don't make you feel stupid even though that's how you think of yourself. Friends who don't make fun of you because some things are, well, a lot of things even, are hard. I am so lucky. As soon as I told Frankie and Ashley my idea about building Niagara Falls instead of writing the essay, they both volunteered to help. This is a big project, I said. We better make a list of supplies we'll need, Ashley suggested. Frankie, you get a pencil and write the list. No way, said Frankie. I'm not a secretary. I'm a builder, a hammer and nails kind of guy. When was the last time you built anything? Ashley asked him. Kindergarten, said Frankie. Remember that awesome gingerbread house I made out of milk cartons and graham crackers? I remember that it collapsed and then you ate it, I said. Okay, you win. Hand me the pencil, Frankie said. The first thing we're going to need is water, I said. Lots and lots of water. Newspaper and flour to build the cliffs, added Ashley. Twigs to make trees out of, I said. And rhinestones for the stars in the sky, said Ashley. Frankie stopped writing. This isn't a t-shirt, Ashwina. Keep in mind, we are building one of the natural wonders of the world. Rhinestones have no place here. Then how about rocks for the cliffs, suggested Ashley. Rocks are good, said Frankie. He added rocks to the list. Let's put a boat at the bottom of the falls, I said. I must have a toy boat somewhere, and maybe I can get a spare pump from one of Emily's old fish tanks. What do you need a pump for? Asked Frankie. Something's got to put the water over the falls, I said. We better have a pan to collect the water, said Ashley. A big pan. I asked everyone to gather as much stuff as they could and meet the next night to begin building. We were all pretty excited. Until we turned the leaf, that is. That's when we saw the worst thing you could possibly find in the doorway. Robert. Hi guys, he said with a grin. Good news. My mom says I can join the meeting. I've got to remember to tell his mother he's not invited. What are you guys doing? He asked. 4th grade stuff, answered Frankie. You wouldn't understand. Try me. We're building Niagara Falls, I said. More than 600,000 gallons of water flow over Niagara Falls every second, Robert said. How do you know that? Ashley asked. Actually, it's all up here, Robert said, pointing to his head. Clear your throat, Robert, said Frankie. A lot of times Robert gets this really annoying bubble in his throat when he talks, like he's got a little ball of slobber down there. He'll just go right on talking if you don't tell him to clear that thing out. I bet you won't be able to create the mist, Robert went on. Did you know that Niagara Falls produces enough mist to fill half the Grand Canyon every 20 minutes? Ashley thought for a minute. As much as I hate to admit it, the mist does sound important, she whispered to me. This gave Robert all the encouragement he needed. My mom has a fan she puts in the window on really hot days. We could use it to blow the water around to look like mist. I think she'd let us borrow it. Oh great, now it was us. The next morning I waited until Emily was in the shower and went into her room. In her closet I found an old pump left over from when she had her Japanese fighting fish. I put the pump in a paper bag along with a Lego boat from my toy chest. Then I went into the kitchen to find a pan. As I was clanking around in the closet, my mom came in. Hi honey, what are you looking for? That big pan you cooked turkey in on Thanksgiving. Oh, I loaned it to Mrs. Fink. She was making a turkey for her son-in-law's birthday. Come to think of it, she never returned it. If it's okay with you, I'm going to get it back from her, I said. I need it for a school project. Be sure to ask her how the turkey turned out, my mom said as she put water on for tea. I suggested she stuff it with wheatgrass and bean sprouts. I'm sure it was delicious. I went next door to apartment 10B and knocked on the door. Mrs. Fink answered. Now, she isn't a small woman, and in her pink bathrobe, she looks like one of those giant pink elephants in the cartoons. Hanky, she said, come in for a donut. I'll put my teeth in. That's okay, Mrs. Fink, I said. I have to get to school. I was just wondering if I could get our turkey pan back. Of course, darling, she said. She went to the kitchen and came back with the pan. As she handed it to me, Mrs. Fink smiled, and I thought I saw her gums. I took the pan and ran without asking her about the turkey. After school, I took all my stuff to our clubhouse. Frankie brought a big stack of newspapers. Ashley had bought a box of rocks and pebbles she had collected at Riverside Park. Even good old Robert showed up with a fan. There's a sink in the broom closet down the hall, and I filled the turkey pan halfway with water. We let Robert do most of the newspaper shredding. Ashley and I soaked the paper and mixed it with flour to make paper mache. As we built the cliffs, Ashley reminded me that we had to make a hole for the hose that was going to bring the water to the top of the falls. The next day, we made another batch of paper mache and added it to the cliffs. A couple of times, the cliffs got so high that the paper mache slid down to the bottom. I had to prop it up while Ashley held her hairdryer up to it. Even then, it took 2 whole days and nights for the cliffs to dry. Finally, the cliffs were ready for us to decorate. We put rocks and pebbles around to make them look real. Frankie had snipped some branches off the ficus tree in his living room when his mother wasn't looking. We stuck those along the top of the cliffs to look like trees. On Saturday night, I decided it was time to add the water part. I had been collecting cardboard tubes from our apartment. 3 came from rolls of paper towels, and a couple others were from bathroom tissue. I love saying bathroom tissue. It rolls off your tongue, not like toilet paper, which sounds too much like what it actually is. If I do say so myself, I had come up with a great plan to get the water to the falls. I was going to connect the tubes with waterproof tape. Then I'd wrap the outside of the cardboard snake with saran wrap. We'd hook one end to the hole we'd made in the cliffs and the other end to the faucet in the cleanup sink in our classroom. Connect the pump, turn on the water, and presto! Niagara Falls! "What are you doing?" asked Frankie when she saw me wrapping the tubes in saran wrap. I told him my brilliant plan. "I don't know, Zip," he said, shaking his head. "Do you think that tube is going to be strong enough to hold water?" "Hey, if you can cover a bowl of watermelon with saran wrap and turn it upside down, then this will hold up too," I assured him. "I tell you, water is going to sail through this baby." On Sunday night, we had one final meeting to finish the projects. Whoops. I glued more trees into the cliffs and put little Lego people into the boat. Ashley and I carefully attached the hose. We painted the cliffs brown, or as Robert pointed out, burnt sienna. He's a real pain about vocabulary, that guy, but I have to admit, he is very helpful. When Niagara Falls was finished, we all stood back to admire it. "Don't move," Frankie said. "I'll be right back." He disappeared. 2 minutes later, he was back, panting. He had run up 6 flights of stairs to his apartment. When he's on a mission, Frankie never waits for the elevator. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a gleaming baby blue stone that I recognized right away. It was his best piece of turquoise from his private rock and mineral collection. Frankie put a spot of glue on it and placed the turquoise on top of the cliff. "It's got good karma," he said. He gave me his classic big dimple smile and then put out his hand. We did our secret handshake. "You're gonna knock 'em dead, Zip. Didn't I tell you I was lucky?"